Hey everybody, Everett's Live Music. Happy winter solstice. The Earth's northern hemisphere right now is pointing further away from the sun on its axis as it's tilted 23 to 24 degrees, right? Than the southern hemisphere, which is favoring the sun. Today we are the furthest on the northern hemisphere on that axis from the direct sunlight that is offered from the sun every day, on our journey as we spin around in orbit. And after today, the days will get longer by a couple minutes. I think it's a hell of a thing to celebrate for the whole planet. There's nothing that can withstand the reality of it. It's something we should all celebrate. It is undeniably a deciding factor on how life has happened on this planet and how it will continue to happen. And we would hope, with all the prayers and hope you have, that it continues to keep going. Spinning at the speed it's spinning at, happening in the way it is on the rotation and the orbit around that sun. This would break through any barrier. Any border would be shattered. But we have come to be beholding to a dollar, to a way of life of competition, more, promising a life of total happiness in areas where it could not possibly be sustained for very long, much longer, as so many people in some of those places that you think are so better have sold out their own people already. And those conversations could go on for a while, but just don't forget, this is something real, man, that really happens, and it really matters for all of us on the planet to see it for that. Maybe you would be able to step away from some of that competition, and I have to have more, and then the way of life where make more, and then my stuff's better than yours. I can do it cheaper. If we dared to ever look at a different way of life, perhaps where would you really be bored if there wasn't deals? Would you really be bored if there wasn't a season of just buying a bunch of stuff and catching the best deals? It's not like I'm trying to take away from Christmas, but the solstices, you would feel it around the planet, no matter where you are, except for kind of like the equator. But even they would recognize it because it changes slightly. It's something that we all experience together. And in my pursuit of that, I can't help but exclaim again and again, that's worshiping the planet, man, and the reality of the world that we live in. And our ability to disrupt the balance for things we have created, like money and the emotional differences on such a level I can't begin to understand. When you talk about religions and different things of who's right and who's wrong, it's wild to me. When I think of the planet for what it is, and the reality of what we've been given, and then to see what has happened and see the constant need to make more and more bombs and things that'll hurt more, and in the endless competition without the total direction in life of just taking care of one another. That's your goal. And to obtain a level of harmony and balance and peace. That's it, dude. Today is a great day for that. Every one of them. The one in March, the one in June, and the one in September. They connect. We are dependent, our lives and our livelihood, and I know we want to make things that are going to sequester this. A way of life where we chase so many and we have to go so far to prove that we are so better than the other guy. We don't need to. So many of our athletes and different people, and it's not totally bad that you move around, but so often for the dollar. There could be an easier way of doing it, a less stressful way, a less level of harm to everything, because it's not like if I don't get there, then somebody else will first. So we will cast all sense of reason aside, and we will make that our mission, and we will obtain our objective, and we will put our flag there first. And, those kind of things, we're still there living life that way. I've tried to mention it before. I hope you dare to listen. It's important to evolve. To believe in one another, to find trust. Let us find a way to trust and believe again so we can begin to write a new end. Words I've put in my songs. Quotes, those are mine. Maybe you'll find something similar, because like playing a guitar, sometimes people say it's all been done. Sometimes I think a lot of my words have been, I've just lived. In any event, happy summer, winter, spring, and fall solstices, man. But this is the winter solstice for us. And in the southern hemisphere right now, what do you think it is? It's the summer solstice. So they're having their longest day, we have our shortest day, and then we're going to change, and we're going to trade. Crazy how it landed on that 23, 24 degree axis, and it's really balanced life on the planet. The way it's all happened. And we got to be the only species to have ever developed a way of life where it's just going to be more. I mean, some are, but I'll let that go for today. And then just remember, man, these days, there's 4 of them that could easily just break down any barrier, any border, because it's us, man. There's nothing, there's no gifts needed, there's nothing, there's the consciousness of man. We are alive, we're on a planet, it's spinning really fast. I think I've mentioned some of that before, and we're orbiting the sun, and there's no arguing it, because if you go to the equator and you see the science test, it's really simple, it's really cool. You'll see the water go one way, and then in the middle it goes straight down, and then the next one, 20 yards away, it goes the other direction because of the Coriolis effect, the spinning of the planet, the speed at which it's traveling, and then the winds and the weather that are here within the troposphere that we live in. And when you fly in a stratosphere, because the stratosphere is above the troposphere, and there's so much to learn about this. There's so much to learn and know and understand. So we all know and love that same thing, our planet. The way life happens, the way if we don't move so many things around. It took us so long to figure out that, man, when we move one species place to another, wow, what an impact. Right, so much of that is tied in. So now that we know, can we we'll do our best to try and set it right, slow down, breathe, man, take it easy, dude. And we could hopefully change it, and our goal is balance and harmony and peace across this globe, as it's our planet. We move as one. People move from so many places to another. I'll touch quickly in our country right now and in the Southwest, the raised voices over border control, and as the presidential race is about to get underway again, and I'll watch our leaders here, like so many places, I bet. It's unfortunate, but the reality of it is we're going to throw mud at one another and try to rally some people for one, and it's unfortunate. Please listen to the earliest part of the message and then try to put that in perspective and digest what we can to have who we want and those that are going to make the best decisions, not out of anger and other situations, but just, the best we can do and see everything for what it is and realize that, even like in a valley right here, when you scream about the borders, right, in the Vegas Valley and the Southwest here, it's not just here, it's all over the Southwest. You've been building like crazy and still developing and populating cities in the areas with no water, as we go through a huge drought. So please stop doing these things. Start looking at the reality of the situations. Make the right decisions for us. Help. Stop putting the dollar first. See the earth and the planet for what it is, and see ourselves for who we are, and recognize that, like right here, man, they build like crazy since '08 when I got here till now. They've been building like crazy. In '08 it went like nothing, and then I moved back. I've been here and gone quite a few times since the '80s, so I've seen a lot of change. But I'm more educated on the hydrological cycle now, and I mentioned in a message before, I'm not a hydrologist or a climatologist, but actually I am in my desire for it. I just might not be accredited, and I don't live my life that way. I have a job and I'm a private contractor, and I'll do those parts those pieces of the community the best I can. It would be great if I didn't have to go everywhere and I didn't have to try to undercut my competition. Instead, my competition is nothing more than another voice and another mind I can share with. And we go back and forth endlessly without the idea that we have to outdo one another, but rather we use one another to reach the highest potential of our ability to learn. That's the beauty of it, man. That's where you gotta go, dude. That's it. So as all this other technology starts to come to phase and you start realizing what we've done in the past has not been working. It's actually driven us further apart, maybe into small little clusters of people, but not that one purpose and that one mind where we share everything. Because now we hold back. I've tried to express it before, from one another in the hopes of gaining another financial situation. Is that really what we are? As we face the next generations of technology that are coming at us, had we seen this before as a people? I've kept my mouth shut a long time. I got a year's message coming here. I would hope you'd look back in some of it and check it out. And I have a lot to learn. I just don't know everything, and I'm not always right. But if we lived life on that other plane where there is no competition, not unless you meant harm to us, that would be a better goal. And on solstices, we celebrate around the planet that idealism, that together we are better. And as we share the light of the sun from one hemisphere to another, and it is given back at the next change of the seasons, and life itself exists that has been developed over billions of years. And our goal to just be better to one another, the best we can. As I see here, like I said earlier, in this one valley, you expanded to a degree where now people are restricted on water. Their pools have to be smaller. There is so much less. It happens right here. It's not just on a Mexican border in this current news that I get. And when I hear you start running for offices and stuff, and the angrier and angrier you get, and all these rahs, just please, the dollar does not save us. It's us saving ourselves, the way of life. If there's a problem on the border, we address it. We'll hold, send the military down there in a peaceful way. You don't have to shoot people. We can control it. Maybe build the wall. Fine. There's got to be a lot of bridges and a lot of wide ones for wildlife for me. That's a huge thing to me. We wouldn't need borders. And the more you build borders, the more we have failed one another on a level of humanity. We are failing each other. The people that show up at the border, maybe Mexico will let them build a town on the Mexico side in the Chihuahua Desert. Is there adequate water supply? There's where you'll start. You'll build your own little homes. You'll build, and maybe people from here or there or everywhere, maybe some people that have actually come from Mexico, Central America, they go down there and they help. And the labor has arrived, and we help one another the best we can with the situation. But if we were on a really level way of life, you wouldn't want to leave so bad your home. Your home would feel like your home because you know the streets, you know the neighborhoods. You've been there a long time. You know the people know you, no matter where you are. And it's okay that life has happened the way it is, but don't try to just make so scary one place, because we do it to ourselves. I can show it to you here in this valley. You did not bring adequate water to this valley, and if you have to bring it too far, possibly you should build the next town somewhere else, closer to the next adequate supply of water that can sustain life over a long period of time without overdrawing its water system and compromising all of the inhabitants of that habitat. That includes everything. The animals, the plants, the people, yes, but man, see us for what we are and what we've become. We must find balance in a level of understanding that we agree upon, so we no longer argue about what happens so much, like in the climate changes and stuff. So those conferences that they say we fail, we have to find it, the common people amongst ourselves, and just recognize who we are no matter where we are. We need to be able to grow food for one another, provide shelter, heat, in certain climates, air conditioning and cooling systems, and not outdo ourselves and put ourselves in a position where we are going to be leaving our children with a way of life that is not sustainable, man. It's a huge thing for me to think about. I share that with you today for the better of tomorrow. Today for tomorrow. For those that have not yet come to be, they will learn and find out and know. They will. I've put this in my songs, my quotes. It's on my posts. Check it out. Yep. We sell one another out so easy throughout our history, and we just haven't developed a new way of life that's more. We have to evolve to that level. That's the only way to stop deforestation and different things. I mean, because other countries are going to do it because they haven't made the money, some countries, and they feel they deserve it. Why? Can we just slow down? There's no finish line. I just reiterate some of that again today, and I pause for any conflict on the planet and stuff, and the ability for us to see through ourselves and just a way of life where it's always been more like hurt and I'll hurt you, and then Maybe it's just unattainable peace. I'm sure through history you could prove that, but if we behold to a dollar or some kind of like, I'm right, you're wrong, my God's more right than yours, or whatever position, like that was mine first, my land, because this is our planet. We don't own it. We're just part of it. It breaks down the walls, man. I have been trying, and maybe it could be argued. Anyways, peace for the winter solstice, man. And our days will get a little longer here, and then by the time spring comes, for the northern hemisphere, we'll start favoring the direction of the sun on the axis. And the southern hemisphere will start heading through fall into its winter, which it'll experience in the middle of June, like, well, the third week of June, third week of March, third week of June, third week of September, and then the third week of, not right now, man, the shortest day of the year for where I'm at. In the North and South Pole, what happens? It's either all light or all dark at this time of year. So, all that's really beautiful, and then just the way everything happens in balance and what we've been given. And maybe to see the way of life we've developed where competition and more and my thing's better, and it just creates more waste and more hurt and hate and I'll get you, and then I'll come and you'll never work in this, your business is crushed, you'll never do this again, and you compromise our fundamentals and our beliefs. And for even like the children, I've asked the child that's grown, in my home, dude, I ask for your opinion and stuff, because through what I've seen in life, I only have one child that's been with me, so it's just the two of us. It's hard to tell, but they have a conscience. It's there, man. And the other things have to be taught, how to make money, and then you're taught sometimes, and if you're in the right circles, maybe you make more than others, but others, you're compromised. Because what else are you going to do, you say to yourself, or there's a life of learning, a whole life of learning. Taking it easy, to take it easy is not like so bad. You're consuming so much less. The more thing, and have you worked enough, to prove that you're good enough. Never discount a level of education that could be achieved over a lifetime. Peace.